Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise and bring you the clearest insights from sources that matter.
That's right.
And today, we are diving headfirst into something that's, well, quietly making a huge impact: Pilates.
Mm-hmm.
Our source material is this really fascinating interview with Caroline Berger de Fémynie by Farid Garbi. It's called Réussir en Pilates, Succeeding in Pilates.
A great interview.
Really is. And our mission today, it's pretty straightforward. We want to unpack Caroline's really bold claim. She says a staggering 99% of people should be doing Pilates.
99%, it's huge.
Exactly. We're going to look at what's driving its, undeniable global growth and, yeah, even explore how it offers a surprisingly rewarding career.
Right. Sustainable, too.
So look, whether you're maybe searching for a new way to move, just curious about wellness trends, or perhaps even thinking about a totally new career path, you're probably going to find some real aha moments here. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so that 99% figure, it just leaps out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
99%, that's almost, well, everybody.
It is.
What makes Caroline Berger de Fémynie so incredibly certain about that? Feels like such a massive claim.
It absolutely is a massive claim.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting is she doesn't just, throw it out there. She really backs it up.
Okay.
She lays out these three core reasons. Fundamentally, she argues Pilates is universal, modular, and safe.
Universal, modular, safe.
Got it. And it's not just buzzwords. It really speaks to the careful design and the amazing adaptability of the method itself.
Okay, let's break that down a bit, especially the universal part. How can one method really work for almost everyone?
Yeah, that's the key question, isn't it? When she says universal, she genuinely means it fits nearly all bodies, all ages, pretty much any life situation.
Right.
The interview specifically mentions seniors, finding better balance, athletes using it for performance and injury prevention, pregnant women preparing and recovering safely, people coming back from injuries, rebuilding strength gently. It's not one size fits all, but maybe more like one size adapts to all.
That adaptability is really something.
Yeah.
So what's at the core?
Yeah.
What makes it work so broadly, the actual principles?
The real heart of Pilates, as Caroline explains it, it revolves around a few key things. Postural alignment,
Okay.
conscious breathing, control, and that deep core strengthening. These aren't just separate exercises. They're meant to work together to sort of re-educate your whole body.
Re-educate. Interesting.
And when you get your pelvis stable, that's like the foundation,
Right.
And your spine in a good neutral position.
Right.
And you engage those deep core muscles that we often ignore and improve your breathing. Well, that's when things really start to shift.
Okay.
The source is pretty clear. Postural pains tend to decrease significantly, and overall quality of life just goes up.
It sounds so fundamental, doesn't it? Just for how we live in our bodies.
Yeah.
And it's not some new trend either.
Oh, not at all. Caroline really stresses this point. The method is over 100 years old.
Right.
It stood the test of time, and it's been validated by clinical studies, too. This isn't just a fitness fashion moment.
Right.
It's proof of its effectiveness, really.
Right.
Which makes you think, doesn't it? What gives a method that kind of staying power, that ability to apply to so many different people for so long? It says a lot.
It really does. And that history, plus the benefits, I guess that helps explain why we're seeing this global surge, studios popping up constantly.
Exactly.
So beyond just, general health trends, what are the deeper things driving this Pilates boom worldwide?
Well, Caroline points to three key drivers, and they're all kind of connected. First is just societal demand.
Okay. Demand for what exactly?
Well, think about it. We live pretty sedentary lives now, right?
Yeah.
Lots of stress, lots of musculoskeletal issues, those aches and pains, MSK issues they call them.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So people aren't just looking for a quick Band-Aid anymore. They're actively seeking out preventative, smarter solutions that actually address the root causes. And Pilates, with its focus on alignment and core work, just fits that need perfectly. It's proactive.
That makes sense. People want something that actually works long term.
Right.
What's the second driver then?
The second is the adaptability of the method itself, which we touched on. It's incredibly versatile.
Right.
You've got mat work, floor exercises you can do pretty much anywhere. Super accessible. Then you have the spring-based machines, the reformer, the Cadillac, the chair. They offer different kinds of resistance and support, allow for really targeted work.
Okay.
And within both of those, the formats can range from super gentle, almost like physical therapy,
Right.
to really intensely challenging, even for like elite athletes. This range means it can genuinely meet people wherever they are physically.
So it's not just niche. anyone can find their level.
Yeah.
And the third driver.
The third one is the maturing sector economy.
Okay, maturing sector economy. What does that actually mean in practice for someone interested?
It means the whole industry is getting more established, more professional. You're seeing more studios with really well-trained instructors who stick to high standards.
Good.
There are solid training programs now, qualifying programs that give instructors real credentials. There are clearer pedagogical standards, which builds confidence,
Yep.
for everyone.
Makes a difference. Trust.
Exactly. Trust and reliability. It reassures people thinking about trying it and maybe even people thinking of investing or teaching. And every new studio, like Caroline says, it becomes a little hub for jobs, for physical education, even for innovation in wellness.
Yeah.
So if you connect that to the bigger picture, Pilates isn't just some trend, it's really a response to how society is changing, how we think about health, and it's supported by this increasingly professional industry.
That's a really important point about the professionals of giving it stability,
Yeah.
unlike some fitness crazes, right?
Yeah.
But speaking of crazes, when something gets popular, you always see variations pop up. The interview mentions derivatives, things like Pilates booty, Pilates wall, Pilates bar, even hot Pilates.
Yeah, you see those names everywhere.
It sounds like a lot to sort through.
Mm.
Are these, like, good things? Opportunities?
Mhm.
Or is there a danger they just dilute the real method?
That's a really good question, and Caroline has a very clear take on it. She calls these variations doorways, not replacements.
Doorways, not replacements. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, and that distinction is crucial. What she means is these specific classes might have different names, maybe a slightly different focus.
Right.
But the common trunk, the essential core principles of original Pilates, they stay the same.
So the foundation doesn't change, even if the label is different. What are those core things again?
Exactly. That common trunk, she emphasizes, still includes that specific lateral thoracic breathing into the sides of your ribs, engaging the core, meticulous placement of the body, real precision in movement, and fundamental control. Those are the non-negotiables.
Got it.
So the point of these variations is just to appeal to different motivations. Someone might want the aesthetic focus of Pilates booty. Someone else might need the therapeutic support of Pilates wall. Or maybe the sensory experience of hot Pilates draws them in.
Different hooks for different folks.
Precisely. They're just different entry points, different flavors, but they shouldn't betray those core principles that Joseph Pilates laid down.
Which brings up a good point for you listening. How do you spot authentic practice with all these options?
Yeah.
It's about looking for those foundations,
Mm-hmm.
the breathing, the precision, the control. That tells you you're getting the real benefits.
That's a super helpful way to think about it. Doorways, clears things up. Now, the interview also specifically mentions Stott Pilates. What makes that particular approach stand out? Why highlight that one?
Yeah, she uses Stott Pilates as a key example. It represents a modernization that stays really faithful to the spirit of Joseph Pilates. Okay, modernization how?
It's been updated, enriched with current knowledge from biomechanics and rehabilitation science. So it's not just repeating the original exercises by rote, it's an intelligent evolution. It integrates what we now know about how the body moves best, how it heals,
Right.
while still honoring those core principles we keep talking about. It often provides a very systematic approach, maybe with more modifications to suit different bodies even better.
Okay, that makes sense. Evolving with science. And what really jumped out at me was the financial side she mentions.
Yeah.
Caroline states that Stott Pilates instructors are among the best paid for group classes, up to 60 euros an hour before tax.
Right. It's significant.
That's serious money in the fitness world.
Right.
Why is that expertise valued so highly?
It's a great insight, isn't it? It shows the market really does reward quality. Caroline lists a few reasons for that high value. It comes down to the perceived and measured quality of the teaching.
Okay.
The really solid, thorough training the instructors get, the clear progression in how they teach, the observable results clients see and feel.
And crucially, the increased safety because of that biomechanical understanding. People are willing to pay for that combination of effectiveness and knowing they're in safe hands. The market values that expertise.
So it's about results and safety, and that commands a premium.
Yeah.
What does this mean for the instructors themselves then, their actual day-to-day, their quality of life?
Well, Caroline suggests it's noticeably better than in many other fitness jobs.
How so?
Think about it. They often have more ability to structure their own schedules. That means potentially a much better work-life balance.
Oh.
They can mix private sessions with group classes, which diversifies things, and they often work in calmer, well-lit studio environments, which is quite different from, say, a loud, high-intensity gym setting.
True. Less burnout, maybe. Exactly. So what does this all mean for you listening? Whether you're just watching the wellness world or maybe even thinking about a career shift, it shows that getting high-quality training in Pilates, especially in respected approaches like Stott, can genuinely lead to a stable, rewarding career. Your expertise is valued. It's not just a passion project. It can be a sustainable way to make a living.
That's a really practical takeaway. Quality training equals real career potential.
Okay, so with all this growth and demand, what does Caroline see as the essential things for a Pilates studio to be really successful today?
Right now, she boils it down to 3 core pillars: pedagogy, coherence, and relationship.
Okay, pedagogy, coherence, relationship. Let's unpack those quickly.
Sure, pedagogy is just the art and science of teaching well. Can the instructors actually communicate the method effectively? Can they adapt it? That's fundamental.
Makes sense.
Coherence is about the studio's overall consistency. Does its brand message match the actual experience? Is there integrity in what they offer? It's about delivering on the promise.
Got it. And relationship. Relationship is the human element. Building a real community within the studio, the connection between the instructors and the clients. When those 3 things are strong, you get a studio that people stick with.
Teaching, consistency, community. Sounds like a solid foundation for almost anything, really.
True.
So looking forward then, what innovations does Caroline see coming down the pike for Pilates? Where's it all heading?
She sees 2 main paths for innovation shaping the future. First is useful digital tools.
Technology. How does that fit in?
Well, it's not about replacing the teacher, she stresses, but enhancing the experience. Think pedagogical platforms to help you practice or learn outside of class.
Okay.
Simple biomechanical sensors, maybe giving you real-time feedback on your form during a session.
Oh, interesting.
Or online tools for assessments, tracking progress, helping tailor programs even more specifically.
So tech that supports the human connection, not replaces it. What's the second area of innovation?
The second is territorial anchoring. Basically embedding Pilates more deeply into local communities.
Territorial anchoring, like local roots.
Exactly. Imagine neighborhood studios becoming real community hubs, places people feel they belong, making Pilates just a normal part of local life. It also means things like partnerships with businesses bringing Pilates into the workplace for wellness programs.
Yeah, corporate
Wellness and collaborations with healthcare providers, integrating Pilates more into preventative health or rehabilitation pathways. So connecting this to the bigger picture, it's all about making Pilates even more accessible, more integrated into our daily lives and communities, taking it beyond just the dedicated studio walls.
That's a pretty cool vision. Blending high-tech tools with really deep community roots. We've covered so much today, from why Pilates might be for almost everyone to its economic strength and now these future directions. It's quite a landscape.
It really is, rich and evolving.
And I wanted to loop back to something Caroline said that really stuck with me, kind of the core message. Pilates is not about suffering. It's about consciousness.
Yes, powerful statement.
And also, it doesn't ask you to be someone else. It teaches you to inhabit your body with precision. I love that. It's not about chasing some ideal, but about really understanding and working with the body you actually have.
Beautifully put. It's about awareness.
And thinking about the career side we discussed, it really does highlight that double benefit. How often do you find something that genuinely improves the lives of the people doing it and the lives of the people teaching it?
It's quite rare, isn't it? A really positive synergy.
It makes you appreciate the value of that kind of work. So maybe a final thought for you listening as you go about your day. Just consider, what's one small step you could take starting today to inhabit your own body with maybe a little more precision, a little more consciousness?
A great question to ponder.
Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Pilates. We hope you picked up some useful insights, maybe even a bit of inspiration to explore it further yourself.
Hope so too.
Until next time, keep digging deeper.